you get this sort of side of the martial arts family, growing up, training all the time, but you're also in Rio, which is a crazy place, and the lifestyle that you had going on there, which you talk about here going to the book. Rio is like New York City and Bangkok combined. It is a turbulent, whatever you want, whenever you want it, mix of sex, crime, drugs, nature, and beach culture. Although we lived in a nice apartment in Copacabana, Rio is not like LA. There's not a rich town like Beverly Hills and then a poor one like Compton. They are combined. 1 minute you're in Beverly Hills, and the next you turn down a side street and you are in Compton. As a kid, I developed street smarts. From gangbangers to fighters to the high society matrons to the surfers to the most beautiful girls in Ipanema, I wanted to understand all of it. I would often ditch school and just walk around Rio. I had normal rounds that I made through the city. So you're kind of living this kind of crazy, turbulent yes. lifestyle.
Yes.
And you're just drawn to that.
Very much, because, in my house, I was the youngster, and Halls, Horion, and Helson was 8, 9, and 10 years older than me. So when I about 11, 12, I like to hear what they say to keep up with, So for me, when I go home, I was listening and learning with those smart guys, And when I go to the street, I don't want to stay with the 10, 11-year-olds, which are just thinking about silly things. I was just walk with the older guys talking about things I hear my brothers talking. And the guy say, hey, this kid is not so he knows what he's saying. So I was trying to be very, compatible with the higher level street guys I see on the street. So that's kind of put me in a very soft place, because I have to be smart. I have to be very much solid with them, show no fear, so to be able to walk with them, to be able to get in the car and go surf somewhere. So I was there to just show them I can handle, So I was just, give me a mission, I will do, Sometimes the guys, they want to smoke pot, for example, and nobody wants to go in the dealer spot because they all afraid of the cops. I was 12, 11. I said, no, I can go with my trunks. I can go up and down, hide the thing, and nobody going to see it. So I was just being like the kid, which helps the older guys to get what they need. So I was just doing things regardless of right or wrong. I just try to keep myself in a position to be respected from the boys on the hood, and being like a street guy, not exactly a spoiled kid which forbidden to play on the street or something. So I was just taking care of my life I was 18, 19, and I was just 12,
And you ended up kind of running with a gang of kids.
Oh yeah, for me it was a demonstration of courage, demonstration of being tough. Mm-hmm. It was not about doing right or wrong. It's about be able to keep with the boys and be respected in the hood as a guy who not gonna flick, not gonna. So that's kind of give me a good sense of be part of a team which is a tough team. The guys, they're all fighters, they're all tough kids, they're all, very, very much born to just do trouble and things. Mm-hmm. And I start to growing up a little bit. I start to see all those values I learn on the street are not values I should take in my life if I want to grow up and represent what I want. So my mission, my passion for the family was take me away from that dark side of being just doing problems and start to become more an athlete and becoming completely focused on my life as a representative of Jiu-Jitsu, but with a sense of base and sense of, I'm not going to let my friends down. I'm always good to be a solid, no matter if it's going, if it's a good thing, if it's a wrong thing, I want to be part of and be trusted by my friends. So that's what I accomplish.
Yeah, it seems like you ventured into that world of sort of that gang mentality. And then you say here in the book, I began to drift away from the gang when members started stealing stereos and using guns. I knew they were on a path that would take them nowhere fast, and I was much more interested in jiu-jitsu, surfing, and girls than a life of crime. Although I was rebellious and did things that my dad didn't agree with, I never stopped competing and never stopped winning. In his eyes, that made me special. It was about this time that I began to train with my brother Holes. Up to this point, Elio was my teacher. Whether he was surfing, training, fighting, riding horses, hang gliding, or chasing girls, Holes was constantly in motion. He was fast, technical, and always pushed me to train harder and achieve more. Training with Holes was essentially fighting. He reinforced what Elio had taught me. Fuck points, fuck judges, win by submission or not at all. I began to improve quickly under Holes, and Elio was not surprised. I wasn't stubborn and never choked under pressure. Now the expectations for me were both from Holes and my dad, and they were extremely high. How many hours a day were you training with Holes at this time?
Oh, at least 4 hours. At least 2 hours in the morning or in the early afternoon for classes and then the training at night. Mm-hmm. So I was always at the school, you know. I was never being too much a good student, you know. So I get any excuse to stay away from school and stay at the academy or at the beach. But, you know, it was a good training, very fun.
How much time would you spend sparring? How much time would you spend drilling? How much time would you spend creating new stuff?
Normally, the class follows up with a sequence of drilling, learning some techniques, some drills, and after the free sparring. So I follow the protocols of the class, and I always gonna learn something, training something, or improving some kind of technique, and also the practice afterwards. So I just follow the program of every class.
Did you find yourself in Holes, especially as Holes is bringing in Sambo and wrestling, would you have to break stuff down and kind of adapt it into jiu-jitsu? Do you remember doing that kind of thing?
No, I remember Holes showing the techniques, and we immediately, because he also have the eye for what's good for us or not. I was not learning from a wrestling teacher. I was learning from a guy who learns wrestling, but is a jiu-jitsu teacher and try to favor us with the best of it. So things he may learn and he didn't like it, he not even show us. He just showed the things we are related to. If the guy grab you here so you do that. So I was just follow up his lead on what I should use from wrestling, what I should use from Sambo, what I should use from judo. Some techniques in judo are suicidal techniques and put you, after the throw, you get caught in a bad position. So you don't want to do those techniques. So basically, I was not there to learn judo. I was there to learning an efficient way to take people down with judo, but for jiu-jitsu. So all the preparation, the techniques are kind of slightly different than being just a judo practitioner.
Yeah, I was lucky. My son, when he wrestled, he had a wrestling coach that started working with his wrestling team. That was a jiu-jitsu guy too. Oh. And so he could tell him, hey, do this. Like, hey, this is like a sweep. Hey, this is like a scissor sweep. Yeah. He would be able to coach him to wrestle using jiu-jitsu with wrestling.
Can relate much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.